between us and an attacker. But because a punch is the most common strike that is going to be thrown out on the streets, that's also what we're going to be focusing on. 6 different punching sets. First one is very, very simple. Getting into your fighting stance, having both feet facing forward, if you will. I want us to do this at double arm's length. So go ahead and extend your arm. Because here, we know that if we have a partner and we're examining their movements, we're not going to get hit. Realistically, you're not going to throw a punch at this distance. This is where you're throwing a punch. Single arm's length. So, for now, one partner is going to get in front and they're going to throw a jab. And pay very close attention to this leg that's forward. As I throw that punch, I'm stepping with it. I'm increasing my distance. And I'm going to keep it simple for now. As you're doing this, I'm going to call this a 1. So whatever hand is in front is throwing the jab. And then my partner will return it. Because now he has a target as well, same time I do. We see what it is we're going to hit. Any questions thus far? All right, so go ahead and get with a partner, go over the jab, practice this step, and watching my foot, the pivot at that step, so that you get the fullest extension in your range. Go ahead and partner up.
Face the door.
You might want to step to the side so the people behind you can see.
Okay.
All right, so what number was this hand here?
1.
1, outstanding. So the rear hand was probably going to be what? 2. That's how numbers work. All right, so I throw that jab and I throw my punch, or a reverse punch, whatever it is that you may call it. Where are my hands the whole time? Somebody tell me. Oh yeah. I saw a lot of people coming here to the chamber, and that's great for traditional techniques. But if it's here, and something's coming from the side or here, you can't block. If your hand is below your chin, you cannot block something hitting your face. Keep that in mind. So, 1, 2. And notice my rear leg, just like my front leg, is pivoting. Now, I understand that several of you were trying to add the point sparring applications where you get off the line of your attacker. I totally support that, but for the purpose of this drill, I want you to focus just on this coming forward. And I say that because as I'm doing this, I'm focusing on the nose or the chin, one or the other. So, get back with your partner, go over 1 and 2 together, a continuous drill, and then the other person does his job. And if I'm doing my job as the defender, then go ahead, he can't hit it. Because I'm protecting my face. That's why these hands are here. Go ahead. All right, now we've got 1 and 2. And if we're at good lengths like we're supposed to be, we can throw that with the whole step. And when that foot connects with the floor, we've got that reverse punch coming in strong. Now we're going to add the next number to it. After 2 comes 3. So 1, 2. Now, while my body is turned into this punch, the rear hand is going to begin its hook. Level with the floor, completely parallel. And I'm still keeping that pivot. So 1, 2, 3 is the hook. Now, one of the key things that will save your fingers from breaking, you want your fingers like this. If you turn it this way, you are throwing an individual brick. If you are turning it this way, you have a wall of bricks. A single brick will break. It's called a boxer's brick. This pinky finger often breaks for boxers when they throw a hook sideways. Give them a wall, not a brick. So, 1, 2, 3, return. And then my partner does it. Good. Now you see, with that hook, the importance of having these side covers. So do it again. Okay. One more time. Always covered, because you don't know where it's coming from. It might come from a kick, might come from a punch. If my hand is down here, however, go ahead. It's a definite. I'm out. So, any questions about that? Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, go ahead and partner up with your keeping our double arms length. I want to clarify this because I had to talk about it whenever I was working one-on-one. I should have clarified it here. I'm terribly sorry. You're keeping this double arms length so that you don't get hit. All right? So you're not going to throw a hook at this distance. Realistically, when you're throwing a hook, it's because you're in close. You're not throwing a hook from here. So you don't need to extend your arm way out. I want you to focus on here. This is the actual distance that you're going to be hooking. Now, moving on to the next punch. It's very much same verse, same as the first kind of thing. 1, 2, 3, straight. It's the easiest part. All right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Why would we do that? I'm not talking to the walls.
Follow up in case you missed it.
Could be. Maybe you just dazed him and that's straight. It's going to wear him out.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. So that's what I want us to focus on. And because it's so simple, we're only going to take a minute or two and do this with our partner. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. Go. Oh, you're trying to throw that hook.
The thing is not done the effort.
Go ahead. Good. Very good. Go ahead and partner up. Work on it.
Okay.
Safe. No one should have actually got hit with a punch from this distance, correct?
This?
All right. So, I mentioned a moment ago that you would actually be throwing them at this distance, right? All right. So, now, the question is, what happens when somebody does get knocked to the ground? Somebody does get pushed. Somebody does tackle you. Well, we're going to go from there. If you will lay on the floor closer. I might have tackled him, I might have pushed him, I might have punched him. Whatever happened. If you will turn sideways, I'm sorry. Thank you. And me being the aggressor in this situation, just watch it. This individual will want to keep both of his feet flat on the floor, not legs straight, but his feet flat. There we go, knees are up. All right. So, being the attacker, I might choke him, I might punch him, I might get down and hold his head in place and then punch him. You don't know what's going to happen, right? So we have to work on that. We have to be prepared. Switching positions. So the first one I want us to work on is going to be from the choke. You're going to want to scoot in for this.
So we get up here where you sit good.
Now, he's going to do a two-handed choke on me. As he does this, I'm going to take one hand underneath, no thumbs, and wrap around like a fish hook between his elbow and the bottom portion of his wrist. My other hand is going to make a C grip. So this time I will use my thumb. And I'm going to pinch above the elbow. The intent of this is, if I do this, it prevents him from lifting his arm that way. And if I grab here, it prevents him from trying to pull out the other way. So it's a double grip. Now, this foot here, it's going to come and it's going to pinch that foot and keep it against my butt. At the same time, both of my feet are going to lift to the sky and he's going to roll over. Now pay very close attention to where my knees are in this, okay? My knees are spread. My butt is sitting on my feet. My feet are touching, okay? I need them to do that because if I don't, and he has any kind of background in this, he could just use his legs and roll me over from here. And then he's back on top, and I need to fight all over again. So one more time. Good. Now, one comes underneath and wraps like a hook. This one pinches above the elbow. The foot comes around and grabs his foot and holds it against my butt. And then I lift both my feet to the ceiling. One key detail I forgot to mention is I need to point this leg in the direction I'm going. Now, why did I put my head down? I'm sorry?
Punch you?
Yeah, so I don't get punched. What did you say?
Yeah, I figured it was good. You can get them.
Oh, no, there's this stuff for that. Yeah, so I don't want to get punched. I keep my head down. Plus, as I'm doing this, I have a little bit of control over his arms. The lower my base is, the harder it is for him to move me at that point. Any questions thus far? You're smiling awful big. Are you sure there's no questions?
Yes, I'm sure.
All right, so one thing I'm going to recommend is everyone, as you're doing this, have your heads pointing that way. And I say this so that when you roll, you're rolling from sidewall to sidewall instead of rolling into each other. All right, go ahead and partner up. And one way to get an attacker off of you. Here's how it's going to work. One partner is going to be the striker. Okay? Go ahead and get your distance with me. For now, just assume that whatever number you're on, and you're going to go 1 through 4. 1, let's say that was the one that hit him, right? He goes ahead and he lays down. I take the choke on him. Now he performs the drill. He did everything right except he went to the wrong side. Everything else was perfect. Yeah.
Shall we have
Oh, I
it?
did. So let's start from the beginning now. I went through 1 as the striker, and then I choked him. Now he's going to be 1 and the striker, and I'm going to go to the ground, assuming I was already knocked down. He's going to choke me. This way, both partners get to drill the techniques, because this is how it's happened. You will get hit, you will get pushed, you will get tackled, and you will be put on the ground. Then you have to defend that position. That's how this works. So one more time. Now, we went through 1. We're going to go through 2. 1, 2. Number 2 knocks him down. I return it. Choke. Good, good. Now which side you're on to? All right. Good. And he has to defend that. Now I return it. And you go all the way through the hook and the final jab. Partner back and forth. Whoever strikes first gets on top and chokes. Whoever's choking obviously gets to roll the person off. And then you reverse rolls. This is the sequence, the drill, that will help to develop your skills and your muscle memory so that you don't have to act and react, you just move. Make sense? Yes. All right, go. So now, the slow part was the beginning, obviously. Now we're piling things together, flowing a little bit more. Are things making a little bit more sense?
Yes.
Because you don't know what they're going to hit you with. You don't know when they're going to hit you. And you don't know which one's going to put you on your back. So it's good to go through all 3 or 4 of those different kinds and drill it. Well, what if he's not choking you when you're on the ground? So go ahead and get back on. What if, instead, they're thinking to themselves, well, I already got this far with punches, and they're just going to wail on you some more. Perfect. You covered up. Switch me. So yes, first, absolutely, cover it up. Now, watch my legs. This is one of the reasons why I told you a moment ago. It is so important to lift with the hips. Now, where's that elbow?
In
the
the
stomach.
spot.
Yeah. So one more again. Now, here, I wrap around the back. Because if he sits up, he can just punch me again. But if I'm holding on to him, he's got to lift my weight.
Oh,
Now, I shift one arm to the shoulder, one arm to the shoulder. Using my feet and my arms, I push-pull. That way I'm level with him. One hand will wrap across the back. The other hand is going to come to the inside of his armpit and pull over top. Now, safety precaution. These knuckles, they need to be on the ground. So turn your hand. Good. I say that so you don't sprain your wrist. I have this arm trapped. I have the back trapped. I pull in that foot. Now watch carefully with this hand as I am performing my roll. What did I do with it?
Moved it.
Turn the knuckle down
Why?
so you don't hurt your wrist.
So I don't hurt my wrist or trap it.
Okay.
Because whenever he's on his back, if my hand is still behind him, well then it's useless to me. So he goes throwing his punches. I let that dig in. I wrap around the back. One shoulder, two shoulder, feet planted. Scoot, scoot. You're not trying to pull him down. You're scooting yourself up. Wrap around the back. Comes underneath the armpit, over top, and traps. If the only thing you can do is this, that can suffice. However, if you can, hold them in place. This is a much more secure arm lock. Go ahead and try to pull that out. And the time it takes for him to do that, go keep going. Keep focusing on that instead of me rolling. All right. So one more time, we're going to go over the basic key details of this. He throws. Dig them elbows in. I hug him. One shoulder, two shoulder. Around the back. Up through the armpit. Trap. If you can, pinch that arm. Girls, pay attention. Still trapping the foot. Keeping my head up against him. I forgot to mention that a moment ago. And then, whoop.
bet you just trapped the right arm too.
If it's trapped under his shoulder, that's not a concern.
Because you can get it out.
Yeah, but if it's trapped under his back,
Then
that's a
you're
problem. So, starting here, going through the drills. One, pop, and he drops. Now he's going to return it. What are you doing? Lift your hips, lift your hips. One. There it is, good. Now wrap around the back. One, two, good. Because now if I try to sit up, I got to pull him with me. He's got a hard head, but I can't balance it both. Now, shoulder, shoulder, and scoot your hood. There it is, good, good. One, it's okay. One wraps around the back. Very good. One goes underneath the armpit. Wraps over top and traps it. Good. Now, if I try to fight it, that's fine. Because he can just take me over. Any questions? Very key details. Be precise with it. Take your time with it. And go through all four of the strikes. Go ahead. Both right at my area.
Okay, go.
Alright, so we're at that double arm's length, right? And we're going through the drills. I'm just going to say 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's down. Now, me being the attacker, I choose, he adjusts. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Good. Now return. Now he's the attacker. He throws the combination, and when he gets on top of me, he chooses. Is he going to punch me? Is he going to choke me? There you go. And the really good part from here is, since you're on top now, even regardless of the wall. Well, no, that's true. But since you're the one on top now, and trust me, we want to use the elbow. It's a lot bonier. It's a lot harder to break it down. But then here's also a very beautiful part. If you'll scoot away from the wall for a second. All right. So now you can adjust to this part as well. As you're here and you're attacking the attacker, place a hand at the lowest part of that sternum and be very, very nice to your partner. These feet here are going to turn up. This hand is still holding here. And you can kind of get out of it like that. It puts all the weight either on the abdomen or the sternum. Either or. Feet up. And step back. Any questions so far?
I'm good at you.
Alright. Remember, the striker determines what's going on. They will determine the number. It is random. You are not going 1, 2, 3, 4. When you're on the ground, that striker chooses to choke you or punch you. You can't choose. You have to adjust. Any questions? Go.
Okay.
All right, so the next one is going to be the last trap and roll that we're going to learn today, because that's what you're doing when you're on the ground and they're on top of you. You're trapping them to one side and you're rolling them. So go ahead and lay down. Now, common sense would dictate, I want to stop the punch. Don't stop the punch. Don't worry about the punch. The punch is your friend. Because this individual has trapped themselves for you. This idea here, that would be okay. But I don't want you to do it just now. I want you to pull it around the back and turn your face as far away. Because the back of the head, you know, there's nothing real vital there, just a couple brain cells. Now, what he did here, let's turn. Good. So go ahead and hold that. Hold it tight. Yeah, you don't want me to pull out. You want to hold it there. Now, I trapped myself for him. Legitimately, the only thing he has to do is trap that leg. Bump and roll. It's the easiest one.
Alright, so what if the person don't let go of your neck when you roll?
What was that?
What if the person doesn't let go of your neck when you roll? When you roll and you're on top of him, he ain't let go of your neck.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
You're on top.
Yeah, so
If
go
you're
ahead.
on top of him, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, pretty much. So you're going to see this play out just right now. And he's throwing those punches. Okay, you can hug me all day.
Okay. Because he can't choke you out, he can't do nothing, he's just holding you there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, really, at this point, I'm just going to do my chin.
What a jerk. That's a jerk move.
And at the same point, you know, you want to hold me there? All right.
Okay. I knew there was something that...
Oh, there's about 10 different things there. But, you know, once they let go, any questions? It's always the easiest one. Hop to it.